Hello everyone, Vangeris here, and today we're going to be getting into some Dying Light the Beast. Long story short, I pre-ordered Dying Light 2 when it was announced. When I played it, I was thoroughly disappointed. And apparently, because I pre-ordered Dying Light 2, I got this game for free. Which is nice. I mean, props on the devs for making that a thing, but at the same time, I've never heard of that practice before, where you buy game 1 and then game 2 is free for you because you pre-ordered game 1. It's a weird thing. But I also didn't really expect to get into this game at all. But since they gave it to me for free, basically, I thought, fuck it. It's on my hard drive. Why not? I'm also kind of curious of it, since it's supposed to be a sequel to Dying Light, not Dying Light 2, from what I understand. So I don't really know what this game's going to entail in terms of where it is in the timeline, sort of thing. So I've not seen anything about this game. The only thing I know about it is stuff from the trailers, from like the one trailer I've seen, which I know that it's about Kyle Crane. We're going back to him, and we're in some area called Castor Woods or something like that. That's all I know. So I'm going in relatively blind. Now, I'm going to watch this previously on Dying Light thing, because I'm curious if it'll be a proper recap of what happened in Dying Light, or if it's going to be a adjusted version to fit this game's narrative in some way. I'm kind of curious, but we will just get into it now and see how it goes. So, here we go. Let's see what the game thinks of Dying Light after
My name is Kyle Crane. The children of the sun followed a religious leader they called the Mother. She did something to me. She changed me. Clinging to my last shred of humanity, I was hunted by the GRE for months, for years. Finally, they caught me, locked me in a cage like an animal. And then, the real horror began.
Okay, so that is the canon ending, is that we escaped Haran. We didn't nuke it. Okay, so that's this game sort of canon. This is the problem when you make games with multiple endings, is that sequels inadvertently have to pick a canon ending. So it's like, I mean, it's kind of weird that he said that he lost everybody that he cared about in Haran when tons of people were still alive by the end of the following. I mean, especially if you don't nuke Haran. I mean, if you don't nuke Haran, then Lena, the doctor at the tower, still alive. Spike was still alive. I mean, Spike's confirmed to be alive well after that in Dying Light 2. You got all the little side characters that you meet in the game as well. The Embers, they're members. Troy and what's that other guy? Savvy. I mean, they're still alive. They helped you out a good bit. Dr. Camden was still alive. I'm thinking too much about the previous game and how it's not lining up in terms of what he said, but let's just get into it. All right. I already set this stuff up. I'm a lonely fucker, so single player. Here we go. Okay, there's a car GPS system. That's gonna be neat. I'm curious to see what Crane's been through. If he's gonna end up being like the Mother and be sort of a sentient volatile hybrid thing. Then again, if sentient hybridism or sentient volatileism, if that's like a thing, then technically the entire race could become that and be okay.
My name is Kyle Crane. How the hell did I get here?
Well, there's an audio file that just clipped out. That's not a good sign.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Not in this lifetime. Initiate the procedure. Notify me of any developments. Understood, sir.
What is that, like, what does that line even mean? It's like, so am I gonna kill you when I reincarnate? Like, what the fuck is that other line supposed to be about? Not in this lifetime. It's like, well, why would you say it like that? Also, who's the other guy? Who is the other guy? We didn't see his face. They purposely obscured it, so I assume it's gonna be somebody we know. How am I holding this flashlight right now? She must be looking at me on the cameras.
It's a storage room. On the shelf, you'll see some adrenaline. Inject yourself.
That's not on the shelf. That's on like a little table. It's kind of weird to have the camera shots like go from our POV to not our POV back and forth. kind of weird to go back and forth like that when there's nothing really significant that happens. Alright, looks like they didn't bring back the stamina bar, which I'm happy for. I was really annoyed at the parkour stamina bar. I really hope this is a return to form for what Dying Light did right by comparison to Dying Light 2, because I had a lot of problems with Dying Light 2. Like, a significant amount of problems. Alright, I've got questions, but so far I'm growing invested as we go. I'm growing invested. I'm kind of curious where the environment is going to be, because we've been in a city before. We've been in like a countryside, and then we went back to a city again. Are we going to try to do a mix and match of the two? Because there's a car functionality, so there must be like a big open space between locations or something. I want to see the open world, and I want to start engaging with it, because I like that stuff.
Fuck.
I hope this is real. I hope this isn't just a backdrop. I hope we can go places. I really enjoyed the interactions in Dying Light 1 with the level design. I really hope that we can do something fun in this game. Because the problem with Villador in Dying Light 2 was that there was just so much of it that was just... Like, there was so much in Villador that just felt like empty, because you had skyscrapers and skyscrapers, but the only positions on the skyscrapers to get into were like maybe 4 levels out of 80. Now, I get that they don't want to code an entire skyscraper like 60 times in a level, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's the simulation of scale. It's not the actual scale, right? But I mean, if this game brings me back and gets me back into the series, I'm happy to get the next game or DLC for this if it redeems itself. Cause this going through the series has been really weird because, all right, nice, good deal. But yeah, if this works out, then I'm all for getting invested in this series again. Because Dying Light was like the thing that was like, I saw the Rad Brad play it back in 2015, and I was like, oh, that looks neat. And then I played it, and I was like, oh, this is actually fun. You know, story could use some work, but then it was fun. And then after, good lord, how many years was it? 7? Didn't Dying Light 2 come out in 2022? After all that, the second game came out, and I had significant issues with it. Significant issues, to the point where I was not interested in following up with a sequel. But this game has the opportunity to win me back, and that might have been the plan based on the reception to Dying Light 2. Is, you know, because I don't think it got nearly as good of a reception as the first game, as far as I know. Then again, it could just be me. If I become a pulse humper, I apologize, but that's just, when you have a game that has that sort of functionality, it's advantageous to use it. Save zones protect you from the infected. They contain a bed, a stash, and a workbench. Alright. This doesn't look pretty safe. A whole bunch of dead dudes around here. The duration of beast mode is affected by the enemy you are fighting. How does that even work? It's like saying you've basically got plot armor while you have beast mode active.
So we don't know what the long-term side effects might be.
Well, if it makes me strong enough to take on the Baron, that's all that matters.
I mean, again, this is one of those things where it's like you're going on a revenge quest when shit hit the fan after the world has ended. It's like your revenge quest should probably not matter that much considering everything's gone to hell. I mean, it might be better just to fuck off. You know, just go somewhere else and just live out the rest of your days. You know, maybe try to reconnect with people in Haran. You know, just try to do something besides go on your revenge quest. I mean, I can understand, like, he's been tortured for, what, like 13 years, I think they said? But still, it's like, may not be the most practical choice, is all I'm trying to say. There don't seem to be that many skills in the game by comparison to the first game and the follow-up, so I'm wondering about that. I wonder if armor is actually affecting stuff. Let's see. This is a bunch of stuff that I probably got for free, so let's see what it does. Can I redeem it? Please compete. Okay. Whatever. I always hate when they limit this shit. It's like, why can't I unlock it now? I mean, if I'm in the tutorial where it's the easiest version of the game, why not just let me have the overpowered stuff now? You know? Like, I don't get it. This is one thing that I remember not liking so much about Dying Light 2's like inventory system is that you end up picking up multi-tiered versions of items, and so they're all over the place in terms of you know, like you'll end up having like several different types of the same item, and because of that they don't stack. But also you kind of want to go through the things you already made and save the strong stuff, right? So my natural gamer instinct is to go through the weak shit before I get to the strong stuff. But because the inventory is split up so specifically between all the different items, you have to basically use them. You know, like it bloats up your inventory where you have trouble using items efficiently because you've got 5 different versions of them of varying strengths instead of having like a couple of them that, you know, like I'd like to have one major healing item and then have minor stuff here. But I've got 2 of these and I feel like I'm wasteful if I don't use those smaller tier 1 bandages, right? So I'm just kind of sitting here like I want to do things, but I'm going to be wasting a lot of time switching back and forth between stuff if I don't use them the right way. This is one reason why I prefer just, you know, just if you upgrade them, you find all of that type in the world, and all the ones you have are upgraded. Right, just it's not super realistic, but it keeps things sort of streamlined in terms of our stuff is upgraded at this level, and when we upgrade it to the next level, we don't have that extra clutter of having previous lower tiers behind us in our inventory or on our like action bars, sort of a thing.
If those boosters were made for those monsters, why would they work for me?
Because you and the chimeras share a similar biology. A muscular system, a nervous system, a circulatory system, and each variant is designed to enhance a specific trait. Speed, strength, reflexes, regeneration. GSBs simply amplify your natural abilities. Alone, each one is powerful. But together, they can unlock your full potential.
That would actually be pretty cool if we unlock one of them where it's like... It's like we unlock the ability to passively regen a small amount of health, like every couple of seconds. That would actually be really cool, because it means you'd have less downtime trying to heal yourself. And since we're already supercharging ourselves and she mentioned regeneration, I'm going to pray that it happens. It seems like one of the most video game things you could do, too, right? To have just a passive health regen, even if it's just like 1 health point every 5 seconds. Just having something that small would be a nice sort of way to give you a boost that doesn't break combat, but also lets you sort of regenerate slowly in between combat encounters where you're not actually taking that much damage, but it also prevents you from wasting resources when you only lose like 5 health, you know? Like, I'm a big fan of passive regeneration if it's balanced correctly. I'm a big fan of that, and I think we'll pray that we get some in this game, although I don't expect we will, because I don't think the previous games didn't have that at all, beyond like a small like bare minimum when our health got low. I like how this one is just you're just so good of a driver that just your car takes less fuel. Okay, so this skill really just has like you're better at stuff and you learn how to craft a whole bunch of cool things. We can't abuse it like in the first game. I'm gonna miss that. Yeah, this is the problem about sequels, right? Is they always try to rebalance things in sequels. So you end up losing a lot of the fun, broken elements from the first game or like the earlier games, you know? Like being able to break the necks of a whole crowd of infected after camouflaging once was so much fun. And you just can't do it again because it's overpowered, right? Like it's overpowered and because of that it's fun, but also because of that it kind of ruins a lot of the other mechanics because it's so much easier to use the overpowered mechanic, right? So it's one of those things where it's always a push and pull of, okay, we have to make the mechanics fun enough, but we can't make them blatantly overpowered. And we're in this constant push and pull between what's really fun versus what's really balanced. And so you end up trying to find that sweet spot in the middle, which seems to get smaller and smaller as time goes on. So it's like it's weird. But yeah. But one other thing I wanted to say is these skill trees are very small, right? And I wonder if this is sort of the focus of this game is to make something smaller and more focused. because I'm fine with that. You know, it's you know, I'm recording this around the time that I'm wrapping up my Doom 2016 commentary, and that game doesn't do a whole lot, but what it does, it tries to do really well, and succeeds for the most part, right? And I kind of, it looks like this game is trying to do something similar, where it's trying to keep things kind of simple, or relatively simple. You know, try to streamline some of the skills, try to streamline some of the abilities, and just make the encounters fun by keeping things sort of simple. Because there is that element of some games where if you overdo a game in terms of mechanics, sometimes it gets so complicated that you can't hope to balance it at all. You know, you can never hope to really live up to the expectations when you have been basically just, you know, making an overpowered thing. Why are some parts of this map, like, why are the levels so different? It's like everything's level 1, then you get a bunch of level 6 stuff, and then you get a level 11 thing in there. So it's like, shouldn't you have like a slower escalation than early game, mid game, late game? You know, like late game. It just, I don't know. It's a weird thing about it. It's always good to loot stuff in a looting crafting game. Wait, does stabbing them use up a knife? Why does it do that? 'Tis lame. 'Tis very, very lame. The fuck? Did I get hit by something? Did the game punish me for noticing a mistake? Audio's just not working right, which is great. Okay, this is where I was before. This is one of the problems with games as they get more like high fidelity in terms of like their overall visual design, is that the harder, like, the more graphically sort of complex and demanding this stuff becomes, the harder it is to actually, you know when you can interact with stuff or not, because sometimes it might be totally, like, impossible to see the specific thing you need to interact with unless you smear paint on it, right? You know, like with parkour stuff in video games nowadays, where yellow paint is like the parkour color. What the fuck? Holy shit, man. Phase through the ladder. Don't do that, game. This is the weird part about this, right? I feel like I have to, like, sort of wall hump with my mouse to make things work. Like, I have to jiggle and jiggle and jiggle until I find the one sweet spot where I can actually, like, toggle the thing. Climb the thing! Go up the fucking truck, you stupid shit! What the fuck? Nice to know you didn't fix half the jank in your game. Sitting there wall humping like a motherfucker and just the game just would not work. Gun, gun, give me a gun. Do it. Do it now. Make guns more useful than they were in the previous games. Please. I just assumed you're evil. You could not be.
I need to get the backup system working.
What kind of hairdo is that?
Deal. Just promise not to shoot me.
Did she have a fucking Padawan braid? Like it's like a Star Wars Padawan braid? She fucking does! I just now realized that they put white paint everywhere. I thought all this shit was just because it was old.
We better get back to my people.
Ugh. Why is your haircut weird? Her haircut just takes me out of the moment just so much. It's just like, you got like lesbian do, then you're trying to Padawan cosplay. It's just confusing, man.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, Sheriff. I let you down.
You didn't know such thing.
It's a fresh bite. We just need some antizin and we can...
Antizin. We haven't seen any of that in years.
But we have UV, shrooms, and hopes and prayers and positive vibes. Like any of that shit works.
I mean, Dying Light
Sheriff,
2 proves that
I just want you
UV
to know.
lights
It's
keep it
been
at
an
bay.
Wait!
That was dumb. I mean, the second game confirms that UV lights work. You got the power back. You got your UV lights
Going
back.
to need some volunteers to prepare him for burial.
Oh, that's dumb. That's dumb. That sequence is just so full of problems. Okay. Can I skip this tutorial at all? Why do I have to apply this mod to that weapon? Why are you forcing me through this? Go away. Leave me be. But yeah, that whole sequence with the guy killing himself is like... The game that came out before this confirms that UV lights can keep the infection at bay. So it's like... You know, in universe they may not know that that happens, right? It's kind of up in the air
Olivia,
at this point.
someone at the town hall got bit and took his own life.
Maybe they'll
Don't
address
you have
it.
any antas in here?
Asshole's brain out of the fucking.
Antizan's a relic from the past. It was just a suppressant. People were still turning. And it ran out years ago.
So, getting bit means it's over.
UV light can buy some time. But you never know when it'll happen.
Maybe.
But they just confirmed that they knew UV light helped. So why not continue to help until the UV lights go away? I mean...
Didn't stand a chance.
I hate dumb motherfuckers in video games, man. Ugh. Quit giving up all the damn time. Not feeling good about the story so far. It's the least I can say, realistically. Somebody's wasting power over here. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck, game? You give me a quest that you give me at night. You tell me to investigate the area where there are infected around. They automatically see me. What do you fucking want me to do? After all that, the game gets janky and... What is going on, game? Why is half your shit not working? The POV changes get really weird sometimes, where it's like... First it's cinematic, and then it's POV, then it's cinematic again, then it's POV. Why did they all... Why? Why do they all spawn in front of me? Wait, how did the beast come through here and then get the door closed? Why? How does that even work? Idiot. So many people give up in these situations, and it's like, if you've got what you need to, like, live for a while, then, like, you can just sit there. You know? Sure, it might be boring, but I mean, like, you can find ways to, you know, entertain yourself while you wait for the zombies to, you know, die out. Because, I mean, as far as I know, these are like infected people. I don't think they, you know, won't, you know, they should rot and, like, not last forever, as far as I know. Run at least 10,000 meters. Already? I got an achievement for playing the game for like 3 hours? That's all it takes? Again, how is the beast going through these doorways and yet these guys keep dying leaning on the doors? It's like, is the creature carefully taking them and placing them against the door?
Holy fuck.
He didn't actually get grabbed by anything. I couldn't see anything. Was that Waltz? Waltz? It looked like we were supposed to recognize that guy, but I don't know. It's also because Waltz has a very generic-looking face.
There's something we need to talk about.
Aren't we talking now?
It's about the chimeras. Just stop by when you can, okay?
I always hate that shit in video games where it's like, we need to talk about something important. Well, we have open communication right the fuck now. No, I can't say it to you. Why? Dramatic tension. It's all for dramatic tension. But yeah, Was that supposed to be Waltz? It looks like somebody who looks like Waltz. He's got the hairdo, the facial hair, and he's got like the facial structure, and I'm just wondering if they're trying to tie this game into that somehow, or if they're trying to do something else. You entered a level with a higher level. What does that mean? The enemies don't seem to have levels. It's weird the tree's clipping into this parkour puzzle. I am kind of sad that it seems like the parkour has been diminished. Like it's sort of devolved into a lot of other game stuff where it's like when you defeat an enemy you get XP, and when you complete like a challenge you get XP. It's not like the first game where you get points for doing X, Y, or Z consistently, like parkouring or attacking or using weapons and stuff. It's kind of lost that luster that the first game had. I don't know, it's just the magic is not there because we don't upgrade our skills the same way. It's like a regular video game now instead of the more unique stuff that Dying Light 1 had.
So why'd Fisher create these chimeras? What does he hope to accomplish?
He never explicitly said, though we all assumed they were designed to be a kind of bioweapon.
Bioweapon?
Rumor is his pharmaceutical company did research for the military and various NGOs, creating countermeasures for biological threats. To know how to combat them, you must know how to create them.
Very Resident Evil. I mean, at this point, it's sort of a thing where, like, big pharmaceutical companies being the enemy in video games, for zombie outbreaks is pretty much a pretty simple solution to having a protagonist and an antagonist, It clears things up when you have big medical company that's trying to make a virus to cure it, or to make it for military purposes. It's just an easy villain. So I'm not even really surprised that they're continuing to go this route. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to redeem these things you've given me. Ever. Because that would just be stupid to take the free rewards you've given me. I never understand some of these questions that happen. Where it's like, are you sure you want to get this free weapon, and this free skin, and this free stuff that you've already unlocked that'll just sit in your inventory until you choose to manually unlock it? It's like, why even bother? Weird thing is, I feel like the cars are going to be more cumbersome than anything just because they're kind of clunky to move around with. So I kind of don't want to even deal with them in some respects. I don't know. How do I free him? I don't know how to free him, game, when you surround him with 3 dudes I have to kill first. I hate that kind of shit in the game where it's like, I don't know what you want me to do to help him. What the fuck are you doing, Kyle? Go up. You've done this in all the other games. Fuck off. Just go up. Wow. Why was there a zombie with, like, electric charges, like, tied to his nuts? What the fuck? I'm not a Dark Souls character game. I'm Crane. I'm supposed to be, like, somewhat flexible. It's sort of a weird thing. The parkour feels less engaging now because I don't get XP from actually, like, engaging with it. So much as, like, like, it's just sort of an obstacle to overcome as opposed to a thing that gets your skills up now. And it just sort of disconnects the whole idea of parkour being a source of XP, like from the previous game. Like, parkour was so interconnected with everything in the previous 2 games that now it just feels like an addition. Like, it feels like an add-on because you don't get points for it unless you do crazy shit with it. It feels like it's less valuable now because we've devalued it to the point where you just get, blank stuff. You just get a blanket sort of comment about it. Right, trying to get my thoughts out and deal with that fucker appearing. Just the thing feels weird with the parkour right now. It feels like the parkour is less special because it's no longer a skill to level up on its own. It's not as individually identified and like individualized as it used to be. And I guess that's the thing that makes me kind of sad about it. Oh, so it tracks the ones I've beaten. Oh, neat. Maybe it marks other ones of interest?
First ugly motherfucking cocksucker from my collection.
Dude, you don't have to go that hard with the line. You could have just said motherfucker or cocksucker, but putting them together is just overkill, man. So is that it? Did I just run up here and kill a thing? Okay, I thought that was going to be more dynamic than just run up to it and beat the shit out of that one enemy. Okay, so it seems like going to the volatile nests is just a letdown. That's the thing, all I did was run up to it and beat the shit out of the guy. That's all I did, right? That's not really like an event so much as I run up to a thing and then, like, fail to do other shit. So I just killed a dude and then this whole thing's over. That's all it took. Just beat the crap out of the thing and it's done? It's very underwhelming. I mean, at least in like some of the other games you had like an element of if you clear it out, the volatiles numbers would decrease, or you had to like go through like a section of different stuff, and you'd face different enemies doing different things, and that was just kind of lame, just kind of lame. My kick game, fucking hell, spamming F and nothing fucking happens. I swear, I feel like the controls for this series have gotten more sluggish as they've gone on. I don't know if they're trying to adopt like a hyper-realism or something. Something about the game is making the controls less fluid as the games go on, and I don't know why that is. Oh, fuck you. Glitchy fucker. Remember the first game when they introduced enemies slowly? And then they started spawning in the world, they didn't just exist everywhere? I want to go back to that time. I got candy to eat. Do y'all want some? The random Doom kills are kind of funny when you get down to it. It's one of those weird things where the more I think about this series of games, the more I realize that it's like, the devs care, right? Because they keep putting stuff in the games, they keep, up with the games after release, even years after release. It's like, the devs care, like they clearly care about their product, but it just feels like they keep making weird decisions. I really miss parkour giving points, like consistently. I don't know why that ceased to be a thing that we wanted to strive for, but it seems to be a thing we have ceased to strive for. It's kind of weird how some of these attacks go through and I don't even notice my health going down. Because the attacks are so like they're so non-lethal. It's like he just kind of mildly like pokes me and then I lose health for it. Wait, so okay, are these like repeatable? Like, can you go back to them over and over again? Is that why they're sort of like a random elite guy that appears? Because if they're repeatable, I can kind of understand why they'd be like a single elite guy. Now that redeems it a little bit, not completely, but I think it does sort of, if it's meant to be repetitive, I can understand why something would be sort of like short and to the point. One thing too is, it feels like the cars are. It feels like certain parts of the map are not really built very well for the cars, like, to function. Like, anytime we have to go through the streets of the city, I start to feel, like, really bulky and slow. And so I feel like it only works... I feel like the cars are only going to be useful in certain parts of the game. The more I play this game, the more I'm sort of talking myself out of enjoying it. It's weird. The game has a mixture of different elements from Dying Light 1 and 2, and so my brain's just in a constant state of confusion, being like, I recognize this from this, but I'm expecting something from the other thing, so I'm thinking about not Dark Souls. I'm thinking about Dying Light 1, But I'm thinking, wait, are there going to be Dying Light 2 elements in here too? Am I going to have other stuff? You know, it's... I keep going back and forth, and like there's so much like random little things that I'm curious about. Again, I tried it. See, here's the problem, right? Like I tried to do the kick, but there's a delay between me activating the kick, right? But what ends up happening sometimes is I try to go for the kick, but their grab animation can get through the kick like that. Like it just about got through it, but the kick still went through anyway and damaged it. It's just sometimes it doesn't, right? So you got this weird back and forth between kicks sometimes pushing enemies away and sometimes not working because the grab radius might be roughly the same size or even bigger than the kick radius. So you end up with that problem of you have an effect that is meant to push enemies away, but it doesn't do that because the radius for the grab is also pretty big. Can I climb up? No? Okay. Sorry, dude. I think you're dead because the game won't let me get up there in time. Sorry. Oh, one thing I do need to mention is I looked up a little bit of data about how long it takes to beat Dying Light the Beast. It says the main campaign should take roughly 20 hours across 18 missions, and if my assumptions are correct, and if that data is correct, we should be several... let's see, show all the other ones. Yeah, so we've done 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on like the 5th quest, right? So we're like a quarter of the way through this, like up to like a third almost. What the fuck? Why do you do this game? Why do you create safe zones, make me run away from them, and then have quests spawn in them? Okay, why is that? Why is it giving me like level 11 quests in like a level 1 area? I'm trying to creep around and investigate. Fuck off. Maybe I should I think I remember this being a problem in Dying Light 2 where I spent so much time using up the shitty items that I'd never ended up using the bigger items until like the late game. Maybe I should just say fuck it and just sell all the crap items and just use the big stuff all the time. I wonder if that might be more beneficial in the long run, just to use this stuff up more. Motherfucker! Stop tracking me midair! God. I remember so much the reason that I hated a lot of the shit in Dying Light 2 because of the way the combat system just got fucked. It's like they're trying to make it into like an Assassin's Creed game or like a Dark Souls game or something like heavy, with like heavy parry shit. And it's like, just why? Trying to dodge game, let your buttons fucking work. She hits me before she hits me. It's kind of annoying how we lose throwing daggers when we go for backstabs and stuff. Like that makes no sense. I don't lose a knife because I stab it into somebody. That's just not how shit like that works. Can I really not do this in a car? You put tire tracks down and throw a vehicle in front of me I can use. What do you think I'm gonna do? And can I just sit here and just abuse them? What the fuck's hitting me? What the fuck was that? What was hitting me? What the fuck was hitting me? I had to peek my head over the surface and just all of a sudden I'm dying. Like, humans breathe air, motherfucker. What are you doing? They didn't spit acid or do any of that shit before, if that's what happened. Wow, their AI is really dumb. Reload, reload. Jeez, Crane. You lose control of your faculties way too fucking often in this game. It's like mildly moving uphill removes the gun from where you're facing. It's like, what the fuck? Inventory full. Do I have an inventory to have full? Not seeing all... What the fucking Why are you up there now? What is going on? That explodey dude's still just chilling there. Oh my god, sliding around these fucking rooftops, man. Fuck off. It's just the slightest movement fucks up everything. Stop it.
You're right.
Let's try to spare people this run.
Killing
Let's try to be
you won't
nice.
Bring her back.
I wonder if his corpse will just be here forever. Alright. Well, I guess this is the weird thing, right? Like it took us random, like it gave us a quest that was randomly spiked up in terms of difficulty. So it's like, why'd you do that? Is my sort of question about it. You know, it's like why was that allowed, sort of a thing. One thing I'm also annoyed by is how the durability doesn't appear on the weapon until like it's about to break. Like in the little menu down there showing what items I have selected. It'd be nice if it showed the durability bar, you know, the entire time, not just when it's about to break. You know? Stop fucking running away. So is that supposed to be an introduction to that type of enemy? Because I already fought one because of that quest we just found. Which is on the way to doing this quest objective. Like, this game's balancing is all fucked up right now. Like, the balancing and pacing is just weird. I really don't like this, like, unlocking system for, like, locations and stuff, because it seems like the detection spots for certain aspects of this thing either don't work right, or you end up doing this, where you're like, oh, where is the thing? There's a lot of weird, tedious shit that kind of undermines playing the game sometimes when it comes to unlocking things, properly marking things on the map, and doing other stuff. You know, this is one of those weird things where the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know, all the vehicles existing in the world to use, you know, in isolation, sounds like it would be fun. But then you think about, if they're mainly just going to be big transport things between one area of the map to the other, and it's going to be a thing where, like, you know, like if the only real areas where you get to really enjoy the drive is when you're going from one place to another that's like a significant distance away, then you may as well just have fast travel at that point, because all you're doing is wasting the player's time by forcing them to go through this part of the, like, journey, right? You know, like, it's like if I could fast travel to the city, like if you had one fast travel point in each, like, subsection of the map, that would cut down on the downtime of me doing what I'm doing right now, which is just driving from A to B, you know? Now, I don't think you should have fast travel for, like, every safe house, like, under the sun, and every, like, safe area ever, right? I think that's just not going to work. But in terms of, like, making the experience, like, consistently useful for the player, I feel like it would be better to have, like, one fast travel point in each sort of section of the map, or at least around the map in certain major locations. You know, like you have fast travel points at very specific parts of the map that sort of cover the bases, and then you just sort of leave vehicles out of the picture unless you've got significant distances to go. You know what I mean? Like the thing I'm kind of getting at here is that in the following, the buggies worked well because that map was huge in terms of driving space, right? Like there was more driving space than there was, like, locations. Then there were locations to be at, you know what I mean? Like, the amount of distance that you could travel via driving was significant when compared to the amount of distance you could cover by parkouring from one point to the other, right? But in this game it seems to be largely the opposite, yet they've tried to incorporate the... Like they've tried to incorporate the... like the elements of the driving into a map that's not suited well for the driving. Yeah, kind of getting back to what I was saying about the whole, like, vehicle thing, is that it feels like the vehicles in this game are just sort of a tacked-on idea to something that didn't really need to be there in the first place. Like, I think fast traveling would both be cheaper on the production side because they don't have to develop and, like, implement the vehicle systems, but you also don't have to. But it also speeds things up whenever players go from A to B. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there's a more efficient way to get around in this game that's not the current system it has. And I feel like that's a significant issue because now I have to spend time going from A to B, and because parkour is so sort of limited by or not limited, but since parkour is so like downstream of some of the stuff we're doing now, it just feels sort of out of place to use parkour in certain instances because of it feels weird to include vehicles when you've got so many things sort of getting in the way of you using vehicles because there's, the map is like very dense, so you don't need to have vehicles do that much, right? It's like having a vehicle in the slums of Haran, right? It's like, yeah, there are probably some spaces where having a vehicle like could work, logistically, but overall, that map is largely parkour, right? And that's sort of the main thing that I think that sort of undermines some of the stuff in this game, which is like, we just have a lot of stuff here that's largely superfluous to some of the stuff we're doing.
I hope we didn't just send him to his death.
You could wait till I'm out of the fucking room before you say that.
Who knows what...
All I can think of is like Doom music kicking in whenever this stuff happens. Oh no! He's becoming one with the sewer. But yeah, one thing I was getting ready to talk about was I know this map is meant, like I know that this game was originally supposed to be a DLC, like a major DLC for Dying Light 2. At least that's what I've seen online about the game. So within that, I kind of understand that the scale of it is smaller than would be initially sort of believed. But there's a thing about that, like, where it's not about scale so much as density when it comes to like video games and what content is worthwhile. Like for instance, Dying Light 2 as a game, the world is bigger than Dying Light 1. And there's a lot of stuff to do in it. The problem is that a lot of it's repetitive. It's very repetitive in a lot of places, actually. Right, and you've got a couple of quest lines where you go to a person, you talk to a person, go to an area, kill a thing. Talk to a person, go to an area, kill a thing. And that sort of rinse and repeats across a lot of different elements in the game. And while the combat, can be engaging in different ways and at different points, it does have the issue of sort of becoming repetitive by proxy of doing the same sort of quest actions over and over and over. One problem I've found in a lot of games is that they make the game bigger, but not necessarily deeper in terms of stuff to do, right? And this is something that some games can take advantage of due to the design and the overall sort of vibe of the game. Like Just Cause 2 is a good example of a game that has a ton to do, but it is repetitive. But it's also entertaining because it's sort of freeform in its repetitiveness, right? Because you have the element of the game is big enough where there's tons of areas to go to blow up different things and to kill different enemies and to find different collectibles, right? The fun part is that it's open to do however you want, right? Like if you want to run into a base, with a bunch of C4 strapped to your truck, you run in there and just charge straight into a tank and then blow it up. You can do that, and that's part of the fun of that game. Is it's basically just a extremely drawn out, over the top action game, right? Just lots of guns, lots of shooting, lots of explosions. In games like this, however, you end up with a problem where parts of the game can feel, the game can feel small because of the limited amount of content in some of the stuff, like in the game, right? Like how much of this wooded area is actually going to be useful, Because, we went from like here over to here, and there was like not a whole lot to interact with, and there's a bunch of little things that could be done and enemies to fight. But you've always got to consider that element of how much of the game can I actually progress through that has content worth, talking about beyond I do a thing. Right? Is it deeper than just I fight infected, or I fight mini-boss, or I collect thing? Right? Like there's a big sort of spectrum in terms of games that have really tiny games that have a fuck ton of content within that size versus games that are massive that are extremely bare bones, right? Like there's a huge spectrum at this point, and Dying Light, the Beast at this point just seems to be smaller but trying to be denser, in some respects. But given that, we've also got, the sort of bloat that comes from having to navigate the world via like, using vehicles and stuff instead of like being able to fast travel to certain like points around the map. Maybe they'll introduce that later. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass right now because I haven't finished the game, but I do kind of miss having some level of fast travel, in a game. Especially when the parkour is not as prevalent as it used to be. Part of me wonders if I'm even supposed to have some weapons I have yet, because it seems weird for the intro, like, to the game to have, like, assault rifles and shotguns and pistols and machine gun and submachine guns and crossbows and bows available all at once. It just seems like it's a weird thing that shouldn't be. You know what it really is? I think there's just a lot of stuff that Dying Light 2 did that was really dumb, and instead of going back on those decisions, they've just continued and made them worse. So you've got this thing where some of the stuff that we're dealing with here is a product of sort of bad systems that came from a previous game, but they're not going back on it, for lack of a better word. What the fuck? Why did that work now? Oh, I just had to break that? That's all it took? Wow. What am I supposed to break it with? I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. Just spasmed up, and then here I am. Not liking the sound effects that randomly appear to make things quote-unquote scarier. It's about the same as having that fear flash shit in Amnesia Rebirth, where it's just like, hey, have a random jump scare, because we can't make anything actually scary. We're just going to trick your brain into being scared for a split second before you get annoyed. I mean, I like how there's ledges right there that we would normally be able to climb, but because there are, like, weeds there, we can't do it.
I did it.
Kind of weird having him talk out loud, but we're still underwater. Am I supposed to be able to barely breathe during this section, or am I supposed to, like, have better oxygen levels or something? Because I'm just... Am I supposed to take damage during these sequences because of a lack of oxygen, I guess is my overall question. Crane, do you want to get the fuck out, please? Get out, Crane! What is wrong with you? You die here because Crane's too retarded to get out of the fucking... He keeps throwing himself back in there. I'm not doing anything. What the fuck? This is one thing. I've got some mixed feelings about these power puzzles, but overall I think they are kind of fun.
I'm working something out.
They do get a little bit janky at times, though, which is my major complaint with them, is sometimes things get stuck on objects when they really shouldn't, but for the most part I think they're fun. It really does feel like things in the game got more expensive, so I can craft less of the things that I want to use. What the? I hit M and the map does not appear. Work with me, game. Work with me.
You need something.
Why do they all
for
have the
your
hipster glasses?
research.
Tough as nails and smart
It's
as a
like
whip.
the only asset they had for glasses was the hippie glasses, like the hipster glasses. I love when the audio doesn't work. Oh man, I can't wait for a really emotional cutscene to happen, and then just there will be no voice lines, just no, just no audio whatsoever. Hold on. I'm facing down on the map, which you would assume would be south. My compass says that's north. Why does it say that that's north? Who orients a map randomly? You're supposed to orient it in terms of north, south, east, and west. Why is everything wrong? It hurts my soul. Oh man, I miss parkour giving XP. It's one of those things where I kind of wish I didn't complain about the more I play of this series, the more I just go back to Dying Light 1 as like, for all the problems it had, it's still easily my favorite. See, every time I find a safe, it's like, I wonder what the code could be. And then I start thinking about, like, well, what could a code be? And then I start seeing, like, numbers everywhere. And it's like, is that the code? Is that the code? Oh, wait, I can craft those? Oh, brain moment. I'm actually really happy about that, because one thing I really hate in games is when they give you a fuck ton of resources, but all the resources are broken up into categories and you can't trade them in for anything. I really hate it when games do that. This is the solution I've been waiting however many years for. I can't even think of how long, but fucking A, great. Make all of them. Craft all of them, because why not? I feel like there was an opportunity here to, like, use, like, sharp, like, dagger weapons. You know, like, not the throwing knives, but, like, actual dagger weapons. Like, you could use them to help kill the zombies quickly, you know. Like, do the little stabby thing if you have a knife, like, equipped, and that way you don't use up throwing knives. I mean, throwing knives is stupid anyway in the way that they implement it here, but, like, it would have been cooler to have, you know, just a little bit of options available besides just, you know, you use up a resource, even though you could totally stab somebody with a knife repeatedly. That's the weird thing about playing this as Crane again, is like all the boosts that we got in Dying Light should have some sort of rollover effect, especially since we've been, like, souped up with drugs and things. So it's always weird whenever you have a recurring series where you have to depower the character just to build them back up again on a mechanical level. See, I wish the craft quantity went up every time you upgraded it. That would be more useful to upgrade things more often, because you'd get, you know, more of them, and you could have more fun with, you know, less resources in a way. Wait until now. Oh, there's an automatic function to skip to the next day. Okay, cool. I appreciate that. That is good. That is good. How long does it take you to fucking restock? Don't open dead inside. I like that Walking Dead meme where it's like, don't dead open inside? What? It really is kind of overpowered that, like, I can just kick zombies to death in, like, 2 mega kicks. That does feel a tad broken. I also wish you could just hold E whenever you're trying to loot corpses, instead of having to reset it over and over. That'd be a nice little thing to help sort of speed up aiming. You know, if you just hold E next to a bunch of corpses and then you can loot them. I'm not a fan of the, actually, now that I think about it, I've never actually been a fan of, like, the human combat in these games. It's always felt like there's always been an element of jank to it in terms of, like, what the enemies can actually, you know, do. Especially with the, like, awkward dodging that happens where they can, you know, it's like they can dodge you when they should totally be hit by you, sort of a thing. And that's happened throughout the series. It's been kind of annoying to deal with. That's one thing I'm kind of having trouble understanding. Why is Crane special in the grand scheme of this, right? Because as far as I know, he wasn't special before these treatments started happening, right? I mean, he was just a guy that got bitten in Dying Light 1, and nothing really special happened in the following that was unique to him, right? Like, he inhaled some of the fumes that the Children of the Sun engaged with, but that was kind of it? Yeah, it's just why is Crane special in this game, is my sort of question. Like, I have trouble understanding why Crane is supposed to be special in this game, like, before the experiments, because it sounds like he was special before the experiments. I hope this isn't one of those, like, quest puzzles where I have to, like, go through a quest and do all this again. Because if I end up doing that, then I have to, like, go through it the first time like this, and there's going to be nothing at the end of it. Okay, yeah, this is definitely supposed to be, like, a quest location. Oh, there's a third person. Oh, that helps a lot. Didn't even realize that. Legendary wine. Why would somebody climb up there just to place legendary wine up there? I like how I keep trying to look for stuff in my survivor sense, and then it doesn't reveal it until I'm right next to them and about to run past them. That's helpful. That just looks funny in cutscene form. His crotch is blended with her back. All right, let's find out the truth.
Doug?
Hey there. You said you wanted to chat.
Yeah. Who were those bandits?
Hard to say. No shortage of that type out in the wild. These just kinda got pissed off at us.
Kinda?
Kyle, everyone out here is just trying to survive. But you saw what those fuckers were capable of.
What did you do to them?
What they did to us, what we did to them, that can be debated forever. In the end, what counts is who is left standing. Thanks for the help, Kyle. You did good today.
Uh-huh.
Wow, we're just not going to get any resolution to this whatsoever. It's just like, yeah, so there's a fight. It's implied that a deal went south. We don't get any details why. And then it's over. It's just like, that's just so unsatisfying. It's kind of a weird thing I've been thinking about more as I sort of go through this is there's an element to this game where it feels like I'm making less progress because of the lack of like levels I can interact with, but at the same time it's like I appreciate the design of them trying to streamline it and make it sort of simpler but more effective within its simplicity. So I've got this weird mixed feeling about this whole thing where it's like, did I really run past this guy and then it spawns behind me? Like, how do they dodge that? They just dance a little bit, then they dodge it.
Nice try.
Like how does some of this shit not hit? But yeah, kind of getting back to what I was saying a second ago. It feels like the game is sort of struggling with an identity in a certain way where it's like it wants to have things be a little bit simpler. But at the same time, because of the gap between what it takes to level up, it feels like you're making less progress because of the lack of leveling up when you have such a huge XP bar to get up all the time. Especially when you only have, like, it seems like there's only 11 levels in the game, right? So when you have that across 40 hours, right, or however long it takes to beat the game and its side content, it just feels... It feels like it takes longer to do things, and it feels slower than it actually is because of that sort of divide. Oh, that's those little things. Right, this is one thing that the games usually do a good job with, is just having little things that imply the humanity that's gone now. You know, it's one of those weird things, right? Because of the lack of XP you get by fighting some enemies, it makes you just want to skip fighting enemies as often as possible. It's like, why fight enemies when you get more XP by just ignoring them and going to the objective? Why did the... How does this chase shit even work, man? I run away from him for a significant amount of time, doesn't see me, then the chase starts. It's like, how does that even work?
But at least we know it'll get their attention, right?
Whoa. Little sudden light change. Did you see that guy just fall off the edge? It's like he climbed up here just to fall down.
Dr. Bennett delivered the Alpha subject today, as planned. Apparently, they captured him somewhere outside of Haran. The subject has been placed into a drug-induced coma, but I remain cautious. Its resistance to sedation is noteworthy, a factor that must be accounted for in upcoming trials. Full anesthesia, while preferable, may not be feasible, given the subject's heightened tolerance. The challenge now lies in managing this unpredictable variable. Although prolonged pain during experimentation could produce unintended psychological effects, data collection must be prioritized over comfort. After all, the goal is to explore the limits of the subject's resilience, not to coddle it.
I feel like the voice actor for the Baron guy just took too much from Calculon and Futurama, you know? He's got a thing where he slowly enunciates words, as if that makes everything he's saying that much more potent. And it's like, you're just taking forever to say lines, man. He also does the dramatic pause thing a lot when he speaks, and it's kind of corny now that I think about it. That's a good word. Corny is a good word to describe something that is both lame and cringe. Convenient vent? Convenient! I should just call it a convent, because it's a convenient vent. A convent is a different word. There's another tape. How many collectibles are we gonna get here? What the fuck? I wasn't trying... Damn it, game. You got me where I wanted to be, but holy shit, man. I was trying to drop down, pick up the item up there. Game was like, nope, can't handle it. You're going to the safe house right now. Fuck the mechanics and the options within that. Fuck it. Is this going to be where I already went? Hold on, let me... Yeah, it looks like this is with that one place that I already went. I can't wait to do that climbing puzzle again.
I don't know what's going on.
The game just loves putting that shit in there. That's like the, what, like the 12th jump scare, like, infected just hugging the side of the map that I've dealt with. What the fuck, game? Why do you fall down so far? You're not made of, like... I don't even know. What's the heaviest substance in the universe? He's not one of Nibbler's shits. I know that for sure. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, I don't get hardly any XP by defeating those guys, so why even fight them?
Sheriff, you copy?
Yep. And I'm sorry, Kyle, but I need to protect my people.
Fuck.
Alright, so the sheriff's a bitch. Could have told her. Could have told that by her hairdo. Never trust someone with a Padawan braid and a lesbian cut. It always leads to backstabbing and betrayal. Alright, I am shooting the sheriff first chance I get. Alright, sheriff.
Where is she, Jacob?
Who?
The sheriff.
She came running in, grabbed a bunch of her stuff, and took off like she was on fire. She's not answering her radio. What is going on?
Oh, she just chickened out, just ran away. Wow.
But there's ammo in it for you. You up for it?
And for the promise of free ammo, I'm up for just about anything.
This is kind of funny, right? Because I understand that, like, you know, resources would be low, right? Which makes sense in a zombie apocalypse situation, right? But we've also got the element of they've got a trader in here that continually restocks ammo. So it's that thing where the mechanics are fighting against the narrative there.
Nice to see the audio's not working.
She really was working for the back.
It's really weird how the audio screws up here. It's like the game's been out for like a couple months at this point. It's one of the weird things about the Dying Light series I've noticed is I don't remember there being that many glitches in Dying Light 1 when it initially like came out. Like I don't remember it because Dying Light's one of those games that I bought near the beginning of it, like a couple months out, right? I think I bought it in like late 2015, early 2016, you know? So it wasn't that old by that point. So I'm just wondering, you know, why there's so many technical issues in the later games.
What's up, Jacob?
I'm a telepath. Jacob asked me to reach out.
No. The last time someone talked to me telepathically, it did not go well. Use the damn radio.
I can't believe that line actually makes sense.
Isn't safe.
I kind of love how blatantly overpowered the guns are in certain instances, you know? Makes dealing with humans a little bit more, like, engaging than the typical shit that we had to deal with. You know? With their auto-dodging and stuff like that in melee combat. It's one of those weird things where, on the one hand, it's like, oh, combat can be a little bit more fun because guns are a little bit more available. But it can also be a problem because it sort of points out how annoying the melee combat is against humans, so you just tend to skip it.
Here, I want you to have this. That's the last bullet I had in my pocket when we finally reached this place. A token of appreciation.
Thanks.
Yeah, a
Maybe
nostalgic
it'll come in handy
bullet.
someday.
It's kind of funny how it gave me a nostalgic bullet. I'll save her for when I need to kill myself.
Where are we going? Ah, it's the safe house I've already done. Wonderful. Wonderful. Truly wonderful. Now that I think about it, it seems like a really stupid idea to go settle on an island with the idea that the infected can't swim, and then make a fucking bridge that they can crawl over to. It seems like a bad idea. I mean, island survival in the zombie apocalypse should be fucking easy. I mean, just, you're on an island. Have like a ferry. You know, have a transport system that doesn't require a bridge. Because zombies can use a bridge. This should be very simple stuff. But these hippies failed. And they paid the price for it.
Ugh. Infected as fish bait? Dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard.
Yeah, these people are really
Brad
idiots.
and Beth were against it, but
This is just one long string of bad decisions from two opposing parties that just make each other stupider. Wow, I shot him in the neck twice, and he was like, "Guys, something's going on."
Is that what you want, Kyle? Answers.
what I want is that motherfucker's head on a platter. But to do that, I need to know where he's vulnerable.
I understand, but we can't be involved. It's just too dangerous. Please leave.
She's fun. Who was that?
Lydia, she's in charge here. Not exactly warm and cuddly, but don't let that discourage you. She'll come around.
So, I gotta ask, how many times are we gonna have gruff female leader that's not helpful and wants to just not try anything to affect the Baron? Are we gonna get betrayed again? Because if we do, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. If it happens twice from strong, stoic female lead that doesn't actually help, I would laugh. I would laugh so hard if that actually ended up becoming a thing. You know, now I think about it, it's kind of weird that I can pick up these and read some of them, but other ones I can read them, but I can't pick them up. I don't know why that is. Oh, he ran into me, like into my soul. Cowabunga, my dudes. How? That's a grenade! You should die! What the fuck? Man, this is some alien colonial marines like grenades, where they're basically firecrackers. Did I critical hit a box? Can I bypass that? Really? This is a weird clothing store if it's got blades and feathers everywhere. I still don't get why we have to have a picture of the vendor over here. Like, what purpose does it serve to have the vendor right there? You know? Like, honestly, what's the point? Damn right I do.
Your wish is my command.
Did she... Why did we have to just sit in a car and talk about that? Why couldn't we just do it over the radio or something? Why? It's not making sense.
The Baron's scientists have been conducting experiments at a nearby school.
Ah.
Looks like they ran into some trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Bandits.
How's that our problem?
It's not a problem. It's an opportunity.
We'd like to take advantage of the situation. Get inside and find out what they're up to in there.
Oh, so you're ready to stir shit up now?
Let's just say tapping into the comms got me thinking that perhaps I've been too passive.
Oh, I'm glad you have
Got someone out
balls.
there keeping an eye on.
Oh yeah, I meant to say, I did a little bit of research. No spoilers or anything, but I looked up how many side quests there were, just because it seems like there were a lot less. If the AI on Google is correct, then it says that there's only 20 side missions, which is staggering when you're considering that there's 18 main missions. You know, especially, I looked up the numbers for the previous games, right? Dying Light 1 had around 50, the following had around 50, Dying Light 2 had around like 95 or something, and then this game has like 20, and it's like, wow, that is, no wonder the game feels more empty, right? Because there's a huge drop in side missions. And I also looked up some other stuff. Apparently max level is 15, so I don't know how many more points we're going to get as we get up through the next couple of levels. We have to get 13 more points to finish up this tree. How are we going to get that in 3 levels? I love checking locker after locker and there's like next to fucking nothing in them. Really makes the looting feel worthwhile when I get like nothing for like 6 lockers in a row. It's annoying how the like beast bar doesn't fill up when we're like engaging like in combat in general. It's only when we're actively like hitting people with weapons or taking damage. It doesn't count towards like when we get like our kill cam stuff. It's really annoying because it's like I'm killing dudes. That is like the peak of combat. The peak of combat is defeating the enemy. Why can't I get credit for that? You know?
Shut up.
Didn't I interact with this guy
Right.
already,
There?
or is it just the glasses are the same across everybody, so it just makes everybody look
Not
the
yet.
same?
I haven't found any reason.
Okay, it's kind of nice how the first room I interact with is the one with the guy I need to find. You know? It's like, I was just trying to like look around and loot stuff. And now I can't go back! Fucking A! Fucking A, game, I can't go back now. That entire fucking area I can't do now because I randomly picked the right thing right next to the doorway that I entered the area from. Like, what the fuck? At least put this room on the opposite side of the building or something so I have a chance to go through shit before you lock shit off. Holy shit. Like, some of the, like, some of the, like, process for how this stuff works is just really annoying. Like, it's insane to me that you put the objective right next to the entrance in this big building. It's like, what are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking is going to happen? It just makes me mad thinking about, I could have gone through that whole area, looted a bunch of dudes, gotten a bunch of materials I could have scrapped. But no, because I happen to have simultaneously the best and worst luck possible. The first thing I interact with, which is right next to me, happens to be the guy I need to interact with. Like, what are the chances? The more I play the game, the more I have complaints about it. That's sort of the short version of a lot of this shit. So am I able to, like, get out of... Am I able to go back in? Don't tell me that door randomly unlocks now if I go back to it. Don't tell me that. That door's gonna be unlocked, isn't it? The one that was locked earlier. For no reason. It's totally locked. Unlocked now, isn't it? Yep. Yep. If I can get all of you to die right here, that would actually be very, very nice. Oh, you actually have a brain! You're using strategy! Too bad it didn't pay off. It's one of those things where the more that I engage with the game's mechanics, the more I find out that it's just easier just to go loud, go proud, and just kill them as fast as possible, because there's no real point to engage in combat in any other way. You know, like, there's no incentive to fight them fairly, because you only get XP when you kill them. Right, so there's no point in trying to fight them in melee combat. There's no point to do that. There's no point to try to stealth kill them, because, again, it's the same thing. You only get XP by killing them, so it doesn't really matter how you do it. You know, but again, it's just that thing where, like, you're sort of disincentivizing me to play the game in the ways that you've got as an option, because it's just more effective to go loud and just kill them, like, as soon as possible. You know, it sort of circumvents all the work they put into making the stealth work the way it does, making the melee combat work the way it does, when I can just blast the enemies away with the guns that you've given me tons of resources to upgrade and use. You know? It's also one of those weird things where just the game feels less like Dying Light the more... Like, the franchise feels like it's getting away from its roots the longer I play it. Right? Maybe that's just a me thing, but just it feels... Like, when you look at this in the grander context of the series it's from, right? Like when you go all the way back to Dead Island, which was like the beginning of this, right? When you look at that stuff to now, it feels very strange because Dead Island is sort of like the beginning, is like a rough idea. Dying Light refined it and executed it really well. The Following built on it and expanded it into like a vehicular sort of realm with, the whole vehicle thing. Made the vehicles interesting and made them their own sort of unique element the DLC had compared to the base game. And then you get Dying Light 2, which forsakes vehicles and ends up taking a lot of steps backward in terms of the way different mechanics work, the way certain fun elements are taken out to make things more difficult or more like quote-unquote realistic. And then you've got this game, which is basically largely a DLC of that game, right? Like it's realistically, it's basically a DLC that was just given like a full release, right? And so by the time you get here, there's a lot of really great ideas that were in Dying Light 1 that and the Following that were not carried over in 2 and were not expanded upon in this game. If anything, a lot of ideas have regressed as time has gone on. The skill tree's gotten smaller. The mechanics for how vehicles work has gotten much simpler and less interesting. The combat has sort of become much more boring because everything's a lot quicker, and also like there are guns everywhere, which makes it super easy to blast enemies away, right? Like it's this weird thing where it feels like the game is slowly moving away from the niche aspect of the melee zombie, crafting horror game and into just generic zombie killing game. Like it feels like we're slowly drifting towards genericism, if that's a word. And it's just sad because for all the problems that Dying Light had, I thought it was a really fun game. And I thought the Following, like, largely is a pretty fun expansion pack. But Dying Light 2 I had a lot of significant problems with, and this game I'm having the exact same issues, if not more, because there's less in this game, right? Now, obviously, I know it was supposed to be a DLC and got reformatted, but still, it's frustrating to see all the great ideas that were either fun or were dynamic be taken out to try to strip this down to what it's become now, right? And it feels worse. Like the franchise feels like it's going downhill as it goes on. I think I'm enjoying this game a little bit more than Dying Light 2, just because I think Dying Light 2 tried way too many different mechanical things at once, and it kind of screwed up a bunch of things. And I feel like the biggest problem is, I'll wrap this up, then we can listen to this message and move on. But I think one of the biggest things with the series overall is that Dead Island had a lot of systems that were very unrefined. Dying Light and the Following did a lot of ideas, did a lot of work to refine those ideas, implemented a lot of them well, and expanded upon them and added new elements that were engaging. Dying Light 2 tries to reformat the whole thing, change the way melee combat works, change a lot of abilities around, change the way that different elements work together. And it sort of overcomplicated the product while also creating a hell of a lot more bugs and a hell of a lot more problems to deal with when balancing everything at once. And then you get this game, which feels like they're trying to strip it down to not have to worry about that balancing issue so much, but it feels like at the same time they've oversimplified it to the point where it's becoming sort of generic zombie shooter / slasher game, right? Like it's losing. I guess the long and the short of it is, Dying Light 2 and this game feel like B versions of Dying Light and the Following. They really feel like grade B versions that were trying to build on what came before and are just consistently failing 90% of the time to make it more dynamic, more interesting, and more engaging. People might disagree with me on that, and to each their own. But just from my experience, it just seems like the games are getting worse as they're going on, right? And if I wasn't already done with the series after Dying Light 2, I'm probably definitely going to be done after this game, right? Like the game has to seriously redeem itself in the last act for me to actually give a shit about the next one. Because 2 I had issues with. This one I have a myriad of other issues with. Dying Light 2 annoyed the piss out of me. This just kind of bores me and underwhelms me. And it's that sort of thing where Dying Light 2 was a disappointment. The way I look at it is sort of like your kids, right? Dying Light 2 is the disappointing kid that went out, got pregnant by somebody they barely knew, and then they skip town with them rather than just tell you, right? Just a series of failure leading to just endless mockery and stupid, right? This, on the other hand, feels like a kid that you've helped study all year for a test, and yet they fail it, right? It's like, I helped you the whole time. How did you fucking fail, right? You know, they both feel like disappointments, but this one feels like, you know, sort of like, this one should have been better, and it isn't. You know, and Dying Light 2 also should have been better, but isn't, but to a greater degree, given that they had tons of hype building up to it. Are these the Baron's men coming to take their shit back? Oh, there's gonna be a...
Oh, that's just great.
Hey, loot! It's full of loot! Leroy! Leroy!
As I was saying, there's a place where our telepathy is being jammed.
Man, I can't think of anything in terms of like stuff being jammed without thinking of the Spaceballs joke. Radar about to be jammed, and just a giant jar of jam is thrown at their radar dish. I can't take that seriously anymore. Thanks, Spaceballs.
Looks like they're transporting a large batch of chemical compounds.
They say what for?
That's what we don't know, but it can't be good. Better check it out.
And where are they heading with those chemicals?
Camping park northwest of here.
Got it.
It's time for the chemicals, chemicals. We all need our chemicals, like water. If Boogie has taught me anything, it's that water is a chemical. This ends up being a trap. I will be M-A-D. I don't know why it took me a while to load. How do you spell mad? See, trying to do that jump scare shit again. It's like, you gotta find some different, like, shit, man. I'm tired of the jump scares. They've been in movies and video games for the last, like, 20 fucking years. Stop doing that shit. Do something that's gonna be memorable. You know, design something that's truly terrifying. Not something that surprises me. I don't need no fear flash bullshit anymore. Daddy's getting real tired of the fear flashes types of shit.
We've talked about this. I do the scouting, you do the killing. I think I found another one.
I can't wait for us to get to, like, a location where we fight a chimera, and it ends up, like, wounding her, and then we have to watch her die in our arms, and then Crane goes through, like, a moment, you know, because it's like this is the second time somebody's tried to help him die after Jade and that kind of thing. Maybe draw parallels to that. That could be effective. Requiem for a Scream. I like that. I like that play on words. It's not particularly clever, but I still like it. Holy fucking shit! That's like almost as powerful as like a sniper shot. It's really weird seeing the parkour barely move like the needle in terms of XP, but I mean, never mind. You know what? I've made my complaints pretty clear by this point. I really wish... I missed the old leveling up system from Dying Light 1. I think that was the best one so far. I miss the individual skills leveling up. Having one XP bar do everything just kind of makes it a generic level up system. I miss the attack takedowns. I really do. In terms of like camouflage stuff. It seems like ever since they introduced camouflage being a thing that would lead to like killing enemies, they've really regretted that, because every game afterward has like not allowed like stealth takedowns while... or not allowed takedowns while camouflage since. And yes, I understand that they made it overpowered in Dying Light 1. That was part of the fun of using it, but still, you could have rebalanced it in some way instead of just outright taking it out. Again, I've got a lot of complaints about the way the studio sort of handles addressing issues in the in this sort of series. But like I said, we'll probably not be picking up the next one after this unless the third act really saves the game for me, because I've just been kind of underwhelmed by largely everything. I mean, some things have been kind of neat, Like I like the emphasis on, not the emphasis, but the sort of expansion of the guns, and I like the crafting system. Even though the crafting system isn't technically new, like Dying Light 2 had a lot of the same crafting system stuff. But it is one of those things where, like, I feel like this game is... It's a weird thing where, in isolation, I don't think I'd have as many criticisms of this game. I think there'd still be some, but I think a lot of my criticisms for this game come from the fact that I've played basically the entire franchise and then the predecessor to the franchise as well. Right, so it just... that feels like part of the issue. Gotta love those auto dodges. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. This is why guns are so fantastic. They negate their stupid shit. That's part of the fun of it. Oh, hey. Oh, man. That whole encounter pretty much demonstrated why guns are just superior to deal with these assholes than to actually, like, engage with the melee combat. Which is a problem with the melee combat when it's so easily circumvented with gun use. It's hard to take weapons, you know, it's hard to take melee combat seriously when you've got, you know, the entire element of, I can just blow these fuckers away and make it faster on myself. What the fuck? Why do you put the activation button with the button to fucking loot stuff? Why do you do that? This is so much faster than stealthing around at this point. It's one of those things where just like they clearly are trying to keep elements from other like entries in the game, like stealth and stealth takedowns and stuff like that, but it's just like it's just so broken at this point. Like it's just so much faster to just whip your dick out, slap the fuck out of them, and then move on. Like, granted, the stealth's not really that deep in and of itself. I mean, you don't be seen and sneak behind them to kill them. But I mean, that could have been engaging, you know, if you added some extra elements in it. You know, you could have expanded on it, made it a little bit more dynamic. That way you could, you know, have some fun with it. You know, like take some other games that have done that sort of shit, where it's like you have essentially like throwing knives. You have that thing where you can like stab. You know, maybe for this game you have it where you stab an infected with the knife and then you chuck it at an infected in front of you. You know, just something like that.
Well, this
That'd be nice.
it.
That'd be real nice. But instead, we just have sneak behind and stab them. And you don't pick up the throwing knife when you use it to stab an infected now, because apparently Crane's a fucking moron. This is what happens when you go back on all these design choices that worked in your previous games. You end up making shit. Shit that didn't need to be the way it is. Because it's one of those things, right? Another rant's coming on. It's going to be great. But it's another one of those things where, you know, you have a system in place, you know, that in isolation doesn't work well because there's the obvious logical, you know, element of, well, I have a throwing knife, and stabbing someone with a knife doesn't mean the knife is useless now. So why can't I keep using the throwing knives to stab infected? Like, I'm picking them up. Why can't I do that? Right? You have that element. And then you have that previous games let you stab them and not use up the throwing knives. So not only is there an in-universe reason for it to work, you know, where you don't use it up, but you've also you've broken logic and the consistency within your universe at the same time.
Liam,
it's
got
terrible.
The shirt. Hey, I don't see any photo, but there's a drawing. Signed, Liam 9.
A year before the fall. Remind me, what'd I draw on there?
Well, seems like a happy family.
Grab it, turn around, and go to the balcony.
The hell of a view.
It's nice out here.
Right. Jamie and I would hide up there from our parents. We'd spend hours just looking up at the stars.
Well, here's to brotherly love. And to your health.
Unwinding. Shooting the breeze. Taking in the view.
Moments like these are what make us human. Easy to forget that, huh?
Too easy.
Kyle, there's not much I have to offer, but treat this moment as a gift. From me to you.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Liam, your condition, how bad is it?
It's bad.
What about that medicine? Should we look for it? Will it help?
No.
Reloading! Get in!
You are one dumb motherfucker. One thing I do like about this game is I like how it took like the soundtrack from Dying Light 1 and it's like repurposed its like motifs and stuff. And it's like rejigged some of the songs from the first game, which I think is a nice touch.
So he left you a goodbye note too?
He did. Is it all over?
It is.
He hid it from me, from all of us. He knew it wasn't a cold. He knew he was turning. Knew the shrooms stopped working. We could have tried to help him somehow.
Come on, you know he did it for you. To protect you.
While smiling and joking around. My only family.
I know. Hey, look, these are for you. T-shirt of your father's band, a bottle of wine, and a drawing.
What?
Presents from Liam. For your birthday.
But my birthday's not even coming up.
Wait, it's not?
Liam, you fool. He lied to you so you'd help him.
That clever rascal.
It is what it is. Right?
Yeah. Here's hoping for better days. Take care, Jamie.
Thanks for everything, Kyle.
I like that quest. Of all the side ones, I think that one's up there for me.
Got it. See you there.
I like how we have to get in the car to have this conversation. We can't like lean over into the car, like, which would be sort of a stylistic sort of like, oh yeah, I'm chilling. We're used to this at this point. It's like there's stuff that could have happened. You could have told me about this. Why did you have to come here? You know, why couldn't you point me in the direction of it? It's kind of funny when they repeat like kill cams for these enemies that are supposed to be like super special and overpowered. It's like kind of makes them feel the same. Let's see how many points we get out of this, because we still got a third of the campaign left, so I'm wondering how many chimeras we've got left to engage with. It also gets kind of repetitive to like see these cutscenes over and over and over when it's sort of the same thing repeated. Like, however many chimeras we deal with, it's the same animation over and over. You know? Yeah, but one thing I was getting ready to rant about actually was there's an astonishing amount of like there's an astonishingly low amount of urgency in this quest chain. It seems like a lot of it is just the Barons experimenting. Maybe one of them will come attack a settlement every once in a while, and that's kind of it. It's like we're not running on like a timer like some other ones are, some other quests, some other story modes were. But yeah, the pacing of this game feels strange because you have a bunch of like story stuff going on, and then you'll get a chimera mission, right? And then they sort of like the chimera missions just sort of appear to bolster the main story like quest count almost. And I get that they're important for the story because Crane literally has to level up before fighting the Baron, but it does feel kind of strange that we kind of go back and forth between like actual story shit happening and then like boss fight time. And I know that there's like a link between the boss fights and the Baron's activity at points, but it feels very weird. So like it doesn't like, it feels like it's a selector of differing things to deal with in the story, not so much as event A leads to event B, which leads to event C and stuff like that. Like, it feels very different from that. It feels more like, you know, we have done this, and now we can do this because we want to do this now, because we've already done this thing, which may or may not impact thing here. I guess the story beats feel slightly disconnected at this point, just because we're kind of running around doing whatever, and the Baron's kind of doing whatever, and sometimes we clash and sometimes we don't. It's just, I guess this is a long-winded way of saying the story's not really intriguing me so much as just giving me stuff to do, and it really feels like that. Come on, Crane. You have climbed worst. Climb up the tiny little shack. Come on. You can do it. It's not difficult.
It's all right. Ron sent me.
Where is he?
Anna, I don't know how to say this. He...
No. Did you see him before he...
I did. He wanted me to tell you he was sorry.
So, he's left us.
Us? You're pregnant.
Yes.
What made you think the Baron would have helped you?
We didn't want our child to grow up in a cave.
And you thought a lab would be better?
We're surrounded by nothing but death. Who else could have guaranteed our safety?
I mean, certainly not the Baron.
Safety can come with a catch, though.
Don't have a kid, do you?
Does it matter?
Doesn't matter, of course it does. Were we to hide in forests? Huddle inside caves? The cold, the dampness, without medicine, drenched in fear?
Okay, look, I get it. You made a tough call.
This is not a tough call at all.
What do you do now?
Do I have an option? I'll rest. Then I'll return to the cave.
Makes sense.
All right, so the thing I was gonna say though is it's very clearly she didn't have a hard choice. She was either going to take her baby to be a test subject in a lab where all of them were tortured for years and mutated, or she could live in a cave with people that supported her and would probably help her out. It's not a very difficult decision when you look at it like that. I mean, like, she's either a moron or they didn't think about how to actively make this work. They just thought, oh, it's clearly a hard choice. You clearly don't have kids. It's like, as someone with a kid, it is better for you to stay with a community that cares about you and will probably care about your kid, given the situation, than a madman who experimented on you for years. It's a very cut and dry situation. I don't know how you can misinterpret that in any other... I don't understand how you can interpret that in any other way than what I just explained. She's dumb. Very, very dumb. It's kind of weird how I can't use my survivor pulse, like, while I'm moving. I have to sit still to activate it. There's a lot of weird little mechanical differences from the previous games that are just like, this feels like a mistake. Like, this feels like a bug, or like you didn't like fully flesh out like the differences in terms of the triggering points and what can overlap and what can't. It feels wrong. It feels wrong, boo. It's like, here's the thing, right? Like, the game is making sound effects in the soundtrack functionality. Like, it's not actually enemies in the world that exist that it's fucking with me with. Like, I'm getting sound effects that are coming from the music, not from the enemies existing in the world, and that's the thing that kind of screws this whole thing up.
That was fucking nuts.
That was a conveniently weak set of rubble right there. Oh shit. I had the wrong thing equipped. I tried using the grappling hook, but instead I just waved a flashlight around. And then I broke my legs. Oh, look at that. It's faster just to die and respawn here. Wow. Do we have to talk in the car all the time? Why is this our hangout spot?
Glad to see.
I'm really not a fan of these missions where you just have to fuck around the map until you, like, find the right hole, right? It's like trying to go into your wife blindfolded and you have no idea where she is. It's just not a good time.
Shit!
What?
I can't hold on.
What? Kill?
I'm losing them.
Okay, game. Okay. So, attack 1, the entire fucking hive mind is like, oh my god, Crane's racist.
First floor.
Okay. Thank you. You didn't tell me I couldn't attack any of them. One of the only things that I hate more than, like, forced escort missions are forced stealth missions. I bet as soon as I open this thing up and get what I need, everyone's gonna, like, Lydia's gonna lose control, it'll go to shit. I'll have another running sequence.
Okay, it worked. Fuck.
Kyle, are you there? Kyle,
What are you doing, Kyle? What the fuck are you doing?
You shut the hell up, your voice is bringing them right to me.
Why can't I go out the front fucking door, game? What the fucking shit? What the fucking shit, game? Fuck off. Fuck that shit, man. The front door was unlocked. Fuck you. Don't change situations at the drop of a hat. Don't do that as a developer, ever. It's fucking infuriating. When you interact with the door, nothing changes, and then suddenly it's locked. What the fuck? Okay, it's daytime.
Yeah, I copy. But I got nothing to say to you.
I owe you an apology.
Fuck that. Apology not accepted.
We can settle this later. Right now, we need to save my people.
You abandoned them, bitch. Fuck you.
Things are so black and white for you. But things are never that simple.
Can I kill her? I like Crane's funny noises. I really hope I don't have to use a weak weapon against him to subdue him. Why are my... again, why do you limit my resources, game? Why... Gotta have a controlled boss fight because we can't let the player's decisions and build choice impact our experience we've specifically crafted to make as tedious as possible.
Stay sharp. He might not be in the best mood.
That's certainly not going to help his mood.
Time to wake up. Can you hear me? Give me a sign if you can.
Who are you? Where am I?
My name is Lydia. You've been lost inside yourself for a very long time, but I managed to find you and bring you back. Can you tell us who you are? How you got here?
I'm Aiden. My friend Spike and I were trying to rescue someone from the Baron, but it all went to shit. That's
What?
the last thing I remember. Until I woke up here.
Who were you trying to rescue?
Him. You're Kyle Crane, right? Spike's friend?
You and Spike tried to rescue me?
We did. Yeah, where is he? Did you find him when you found me?
No.
Well, then the Baron must still have him. We have to go back for him.
You're in no condition to go anywhere.
I'm fine. We need to find Spike and get him out of there. Who knows what they're doing to him? He's your friend too.
He is, and we'll go get him. But Lydia's right. You're in no condition to go after anyone.
We can't just let him rot in there.
We're not. And we won't. But going off half-cocked will just get Spike killed. We need a plan. But first, I got some questions for you. How do you know Spike?
We were both pilgrims. The messengers. Connecting different towns and settlements. Spike took me in. He taught me a lot. The whole reason he became a pilgrim was to find you.
I've seen a lot of crazy shit, but nothing like you. What are you?
I don't know. I was experimented on as a child. Infected with the virus. They messed with my DNA. I'd have these blackouts that turned me into something really dangerous. And that Baron got a hold of me. And I don't know what he did to me, but I barely remember anything. I kept trying to find my way out, but I was so lost. If not for you people, I don't think I ever would have found my way back.
How did you and Spike find me?
Spike came across some classified GRE files. And we read that they captured you in the countryside, not long after the fall of Haran, and handed you off to the Baron. His company was one of their research partners. And once the GRE collapsed, the Baron was on his own. It took some digging, but we finally found his last remaining operation. We didn't know for sure that you'd be there, but it was the only lead we had.
Okay, I'm kind of confused on the timeline of all this, right? So they're saying that the events of Dying Light 2 took place before the events of this, but I looked up some stuff now. It's like apparently Crane was hiding from the GRE for 10 years and then was captured for 13 years of torture. From 2014, that's like 2024 and then 2037, right? And apparently Dying Light 2 takes place in 2036. So I'm sort of wondering, like, did I miss the 10 years detail of him running from the GRE earlier? Because I thought it was just 13 years, and I don't know. Just I'm a little confused on the timeline, but they've really stretched this. Because I mean, how old is fucking Crane at this point? Because that's 23 years. If what I read is correct about the timeline, that's 23 years after he went to Haran, and he went to Haran in his like mid-20s, like late 20s. So he should be like around 50 or something now. It's weird.
What can you tell me about his operation?
The Baron lives in a massive fortress with snipers up top to guard the perimeter.
She's not wrong. It won't be easy.
Sheriff, it's the Baron. He's on the radio.
Speak of the devil.
Answer it.
This is the sheriff.
Is Crane there? That's who I'm calling for.
You can talk to me.
You don't have what I need.
And I do.
Ah, Crane. You have something that belongs to me. I want it back. And if you don't comply, everyone you care about will die. Let me go, you bastard!
Olivia, if you hurt her, you motherfucker...
Spare me the threats, Crane. I have all the leverage here. I have Olivia, and I have an old friend of yours.
Spike?
Tough customer. We tried to make him talk, but he hardly said a word. Did a lot of screaming, though. Bring the beast to my palace. If you don't, I'll turn your friends into mindless abominations.
Jesus. How about easing up on that evil mastermind routine?
You have until noon.
I have no idea how far away that is.
I owe Spike my life 10 times over.
No, you know that asshole can't be trusted, right? He's not letting any of us walk away from this.
We at least have to try.
No, what we have to do is take that motherfucker out. To do that, we need to get into his palace.
We have archives in the town hall. The blueprints for the palace must be in there somewhere.
See what you can find. All right, we're all in this together. So let's get it done.
Sven, Selby, prepare the cars and weapons. Aiden, Kyle, you need to rest, both of you. Tomorrow will be a tough day, and we need you at full strength. We meet at dawn.
This is just weird at this point.
Aiden is gone.
What?
He just disappeared.
You were supposed to be guarding him.
I thought he was on board with the plan. He all but agreed. I didn't think he'd run.
What is happening here?
It's Aiden. He's gone.
Gone where?
To the Baron. Shit.
By himself? Why would he do that?
To save Spike and keep us out of harm's way.
Fuck. Now what?
It's the Baron. He wants to talk to Crane.
Give it to me. What?
Crane, the beast is safely back where he belongs, but I must say I'm disappointed. I thought you'd be with him.
You have what you want. Release Olivia and Spike.
I don't have everything I want. How can I let you roam free to plan your revenge on me? Be here by noon, or your friends die.
Oh, man. I love how
Just
useless...
lost our advantage.
Like, I'll rant about this
Maybe
in a minute.
not. He thinks he has us beat, so he might not see us coming. We just need to figure out a way into the palace.
Ideas? Anyone?
I've got one. We found the building plans for the palace. It's built on the ruins of a medieval castle. Jacob discovered a book detailing the history of that castle. And he found something very interesting. Apparently there were escape tunnels that connect to the castle's interior. According to the illustrations we've seen, there were multiple tunnels. And if at least one of them is still intact, that might be a way inside.
It's a big if.
I agree. There are no guarantees. But that's what explosives are for. All you have to do is make your way inside, take out the sharpshooters, and open the gate for the rest of us.
Oh, is that all?
Once inside, we can take control of whatever monsters we find.
Okay, time to take the fight to that arrogant prick. If everybody's ready, let's do this.
I mean, this is just going and going and going. I'm waiting for the cutscene to end because I want to rant about Aiden's inclusion because it just feels so... I mean, like, what was the point of having Aiden here to give the lore dump about what was going on? Like, what was the actual point there? All he did was show up, introduce himself, mention that Spike was captured, and then he fucked off. He may as well just not have fucking been here. Like, what's the point? Like, what was the point of having him be there? Like, at all? It's really weird. The more I engage the parkour in this game, the more I just don't care about it, because I don't get... Like, I don't progress anything when I do it, other than just getting from point A to B in the story. It just feels... The parkour feels so disconnected from the game now, since they've removed, like, all the... Like, a lot of the skills that related to it.
Hang in there, buddy. This is our chance. Protect Lydia.
Why didn't we do this before we got here? Would save so many lives. Sven would be alive right now. Also, this might be the most underdeveloped villain of the entire series at this point, because he's been in like less than 10% of the game. I'm shooting the fucking thing. Blow up! Holy fuck! You see them like hopping over shit randomly? Do we have to fight him now?
I'm sorry, Kyle.
What?
Oh my god. The amount of women betraying Crane is just getting funny at this point. That was pretty anticlimactic after all this big, you know, hubbub, and then we just get kind of rolled over at the end.
Crane. Crane.
Oh my god. This is just lame. Can I just shoot everyone at the table, then shoot myself, and
As
just
you
call it
all
a day?
played a part in bringing my life's
I'm kind of in I don't give a shit anymore mode. I kind of just want it to end. Oh, it's a knife. We're gonna have a Modern Warfare 2 ending where I throw a knife at his face. That would be satisfying. Is he gonna cut the throat of random ones of us? Why is everyone shocked by this?
Please.
Ugh. This is so over dramatic and just like drawn out. This is so just lame and over dramatic.
Time to end this once and for all.
You know, Aiden looks way older than he should be, because this should take place, I think, like 1 year after the end of the Dying Light 2, but apparently not. He looks way older, which just doesn't make sense to me. Fuck you and your boss fight, you're lame and gay. Why do you have so much XP? Why are you like this? Are we supposed to be having like a beast off right now? Is that why he's taking reduced damage from everything?
Olivia.
You're alive. Did you kill him?
Just like I said I would.
Oh my god. You did it. Finally, this valley can have a new start. But there is always a price. We've lost some good people today.
Yeah.
Why did none of the women ever get
Hear your
killed?
voice, Kyle. I guess our story wasn't over.
You? Are you fucking kidding
Why?
We had to go underground, but we've always been here. The Baron was one of ours until he wasn't. As usual, you proved to be an exceptionally valuable ally. Enjoy your freedom. You've earned it.
I won't let this go. Not this time.
Leave the past where it belongs, Kyle. Focus instead on the good we can do together.
How is this woman alive after 26 years, a global pandemic that destroyed everything? Just how? You already sounded like you were in your 40s or 50s. You gotta be an old motherfucker at this point. My overall opinions on this are very short and to the point. This feels like a... I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been wanting to make a video on this as I've sort of played it. But right now, my sort of perspective on this is, while Dying Light 2 felt like a bad, bloated version of Dying Light 1, this feels like a bad, bloated version of Dying Light the following, and maintains a lot of the problems from Dying Light 2 that I disliked. The story's still terrible. I don't think any of these games actually have a good story at this point. They're just all terrible. They're just all bad. All the villains are always just this... They're either this mustache twirling fuckhead you can't wait to see shut up, or they're this annoying, vapid, like pseudo-philosophical like bullshit, or it's a mixture of the two. It's just kind of lame. This game feels like it was trying to be way bigger than it actually was, and part of that I just have a lot of problems with. I'm saving a lot of my perspectives on the game in general to put in this Media Bites series I want to start. So that's going to be where a lot of my criticisms go for this game overall. But just my general thoughts of this game are just, I got this for free and it felt like a massive waste of time. I mean, I don't think there's a better way to put it than just, it feels like this series is regressing consistently at this point. It's falling back into tropes of other zombie games that aren't what made Dying Light interesting as a game to play. And the worst part is it feels like the developers care. It just feels like they don't care to make a proper like expansion of Dying Light 1. They just want to continue to slowly morph away from what Dying Light 1 was, which just feels like an insult to like what this sort of series was in the beginning, you know? That sort of like melee focused, parkour, intense, zombies, survival, crafting, you know, thing. It's just different elements have just been eroded over time, right? I guess I'll go into a little bit of detail since I'm sitting here watching the credits. You know, it's just one of those things where whenever I think about all the elements in this game, I think about how some other game did it better. You know, like quality of life stuff. Even for all the glitches that Dying Light 2 had, it still had much better quality of life things, like the fast travel around the map. There were a lot of little things that just did not make sense in this game that were done better in previous games. Like I harped on the, you know, why can I use a like a throwing dagger to kill a zombie in a stealth kill, but like why can I do that but I lose a dagger out of it? It's like that makes no sense. It's like you can stab people with a dagger multiple times. It's not like the dagger is embedded in their skull. Like, it's just stupid. Then you have the massive downgrade from vehicles that you got in the following to this game. It's like you don't get any upgrades besides fuel, and they're a little tougher. There's no skill tree. There's no real customization for like mods or anything you can add to the vehicles. The vehicles are just sort of like a means to get from one area to the next. It's just you know, just the skill trees were reduced and were far less meaningful. The skills being locked to one major XP bar was really a bad step backwards from leveling each skill up based on the usage of those skills. You know, like again, like the first game. I mean, even Dying Light 2 to an extent did that to some degree, right? They got rid of the survival skill for the most part, but they still had like the agility tree and the combat tree affected by agility and combat, right? This game just has one big XP bar. You don't get XP unless you kill enemies. You barely get parkour XP unless you do some major thing. So at the end of the day, you're just playing a game that has parkour in it and has combat in it, and the combat is so taken out of the experience and pulled back away from sort of the core gameplay of what this series was, that it just feels like it's morphing into a generic sort of off-brand Resident Evil at one point. You know, it's devolving, right? And it's that thing where I keep going from each one of these games, and it's just like, it feels like every instance of this series as it goes on just devolves over time. It's like the mechanics get more complicated and yet get worse. The story gets more intricate, yes, yet gets worse. The world building gets more complicated, yet gets worse. You know, the hoops that they will jump through to bring people into these stories for no fucking reason, right? Like, Aiden being in this story has no fucking purpose, right? It could have been any random schmuck, and it would have had the exact same impact. The only difference is that we know where Aiden's from. That's it. I mean, that's really it. Like, his life being the way it is does not impact this story whatsoever. It's just like, there's so much stuff in this game where I just go, why did you make these decisions to make it this way? Because these are just blatantly worse and more shallow versions of previous systems that you've created. Which is funny, right? Because I complained about some of the overcomplicated natures of Dying Light 2's systems, and it's like, this is sort of like, Dying Light 2's problems often come from the complexity of the project they were trying to make. This is sort of a downgrade in terms of making everything simpler, but less valuable as a result. Whereas Dying Light 2 was just a huge mix of varying elements that did not gel together at a lot of times. I'm just underwhelmed. Really. I mean, I think that's really, yeah. I'm just, you know, Dying Light was fun, but had some significant issues as far as, like, the story was concerned and the characters. But apart from that, it was really fun. I would replay it in a heartbeat. I had a lot of fun playing that. The Following was a good expansion, really good expansion pack. That story at this point, I think, is the best of the group, if we're counting all four of these as sort of like mainline things. I mean, it's got to be the best story because it makes the most sense. It does the most world building on top of what happened previously. It doesn't step on any toes. And it also, you know, has an interesting element in it, you know, with the whole choice at the end and what sort of the virus leads to. Right, as well as the characters you interact with. It's one of those things where, when I think about the four sort of entities, right, because it's not technically 4 games. It's like Dying Light, and then there's The Following, which is a major expansion. Then you got Dying Light 2, then you got this, right? If I have to rank the 4 of them, I think Dying Light goes to the top because of the mechanics and the world it has. There's a lot of great moments in Dying Light that come from side quest interactions, the world building in terms of the level design and the orchestration of how the quests intermingle with the level design, the mechanics and the skill trees, complexity, and each ability having some unique thing that they add to the table. The splitting of the skills into 3 separate trees, well, 4 separate trees if you count the legendary stuff, that makes dealing with each skill tree interesting and engaging in its own individual way, but compounds on top of the other skills you get in other trees, right? There's a lot of good mechanical and, like, content shit in Dying Light 1. Dying Light, The Following, was a good expansion pack. The way it expanded into vehicular stuff I thought was really neat. Wasn't perfect, but it was a good step forward to introduce a new skill set that would become interesting and paramount for the experience of that particular DLC. When I get to Dying Light 2, you get a sort of overblown project from the get-go, where you're given choices constantly, but only like 15 of them actually matter. And then you've got really annoying story beats where the game is clearly trying to push you in one direction at a certain point, and clearly trying to push you away from another point. And just the mechanical issues I encountered in that game were staggering, like the amount of bugs that I found in that first run, let alone replaying it, like a couple years later. This game is sort of like a smaller version of Dying Light 2 with a lot of the same problems, but its problems also come from the fact that it feels like Dying Light the Beast feels like a weird mixture of all the bad elements of the previous series, right? Like the vehicle combat is incredibly shallow by comparison to what we had earlier. The skill trees are incredibly shallow compared to what we had earlier. The world itself feels simultaneously small and empty while also being bloated because of the lack of side content. A lot of the side content just involves go to point, unlock safe house, go to point, unlock power, go to point, loot place. Right, like there's not a whole lot there in terms of like the world building of like the characters involved and the stories that are told through side quests and stuff. It's just I have a long series of complaints about this series that are only getting worse over time, right? Like I guess the best way I can describe the failure of Dying Light 2 compared to the failure of this game is Dying Light 2 was a failure to move forward because they tried to overcomplicate the process. And they overcomplicated the creation they made, right? Like it was just, they tried to incorporate way too many changes and additions and like different things, into that game, that it just all kind of fell in on itself because like they could not match their ambition, and that created the ultimate issue with Dying Light 2, where they just added so many different combat elements, parkour elements, world building stuff, and it became too much at a point and became just sort of a big mess in terms of the different elements they were trying to make, as well as just some of the writing in Dying Light 2 genuinely made me cringe into like a puckered butthole with some of the writing in that game. This game is sort of a microcosm of that, but instead of overblowing what Dying Light 1 did, it radically shrinks it down to the point where this game feels like it was sort of beaten into the dirt by the concept of, people thought Dying Light 2 was overcomplicated, so let's streamline this. But within the process of streamlining all this, you took away a bunch of the fun elements of you took away a bunch of the fun elements of Dying Light 1, which was like the individual elements sort of working together. Each level up you got and each skill tree was meaningful in some way. Each individual element in Dying Light 1 worked really well to build on the different elements that they each sort of introduced, right? This game, however, has very simple things throughout it, and a lot of those simple things are an overreaction and an overcorrection for problems had in Dying Light 2 of trying to make things more complicated. And so that's part of the reason why I think this game falls flat for me at this point, is just, having played the crap out of Dying Light, playing a good bit of the following and Dying Light 2 at this point, and playing this one time through, it's very obvious to me that the developers are chasing something that they can't really identify what they're searching for, it feels like, because Dying Light 1 is relatively focused in terms of what it's trying to be. Dying Light 2 is trying to be this massive sequel, and this is trying to be a much tighter version of what Dying Light 2 should have been, right? But within that respect, both games fall short because they're doing what they're doing wrong. Dying Light 2 had a lot of problems with its design choices and its design philosophies that I've gone over in my videos about Dying Light 2. This game has essentially a lot of similar problems, but in sort of the different, Dying Light 2 was going for scale, And this game was going for like simplicity in a lot of ways, and you can see that in the skill trees, right? The skill trees are a great microcosm of that. Dying Light 1, you had these big intricate skill trees for survival, for parkour, for melee combat, right? And each level up you got unlocked something meaningful in that tree, right? Whether it was a new ability, a new efficiency, more defenses, more offenses, more attack options, better bartering, more inventory slots, whatever it was. And then the legendary levels on top of it just added to that, right? But, when you get to, and here's the thing, right? When you look at it in terms of like what the skills were versus what they are now, it is a stark downgrade. Because you have, on the one hand, Dying Light 1 had, I believe it was 24 levels for each, for power and agility. And every one of those unlocked a new ability or a new way to do something better than what you had before, right? So every level was meaningful. And you could work on different skills at different points, right? It wasn't just one XP bar that just led to everything, right? So each skill had its own sort of arc to it. If you play really aggressively with your weapons but don't do a lot of parkour, then that can, feel sort of immersive in that you're really good at fighting, but not very good at navigating, right? And you can have the reverse. Then there's the whole element of you've got, each skill in the Dying Light 1 tree kind of built into something previously. And the inclusion of the following DLC gave you a completely new skill tree with, vehicle upgrades. And it wasn't as in-depth as the other ones, but it still had a good set of skills in it that would be useful, and each level mattered, right, to varying degrees. Dying Light 2 took out, the main survival skill tree, where you basically just upgraded your stamina or your health, and that affected your skill points in a weird way. So it sort of took out some of the options and made the skill trees a little more linear in that respect, or a little bit more focused up, and there wasn't as wide of a variety of skills to upgrade. Then this game takes that and pushes it even farther by having just a couple of skills in each tree that you get from one continuous XP bar, and then you have the other skills that you get in the beast form come from just killing, the chimeras. And so you end up with this thing where you've downgraded your skill system so much that if you continue on this trajectory, by the time we get to Dying Light 3, we're going to have a skill tree that has 4 abilities in it, and it's just do everything better by 25%, then 50%, then 75%, then 100%. Because we've drastically downgraded the skills, and because we've drastically downgraded the skills, we've downgraded the number of options we have available for skills to matter, which means we have downgraded the mechanics as a whole to simplify the process. And within simplifying that process, you've also made it incredibly boring when compared to some of the other stuff that we got in the previous games, especially when the first game has the most detailed skill tree out of the entire franchise at this point. And it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating to look at this series and just keep going. You keep making the same mistakes, but in different directions. And I'm just sitting here just hurting. Like, my head hurts from all this. I'm going to have a good bit to say about this in my video that I'm working on. But yeah, after this, I'm definitely not going to be invested in Dying Light 3 or whatever they're going to call the next Dying Light related game. I think they're on a downward trajectory at this point. I think Dying Light's the best game they've made. Dying Light, the following, had the best story they've made, and everything else has just been a regression over time since then, which is not good because Dying Light, the following, came out in 2016. It's been a decade. They've released 2 games, and both of them have had serious issues, and serious issues of regressing the formula, pretty much. And that's just not cool. It's the long and the short of it is, I had fun exploring this game as I figured things out. It's one of those things where, in isolation, there's a lot of stuff here that could be perceived, that I could say is boring, but because of its attachment to the franchise, it becomes even worse as a sequel. And that's sort of where I'm at right now. It's sort of similar to the Dark Souls 2 situation, right? Where, if Dark Souls 2 came out before Demon Souls, I could understand some of the rough around the edges elements in Dark Souls 2, and I could forgive them if they didn't do things better in 2 previous entries in the series. You know what I mean? And it's similar here, right? Dying Light 1 and the following had significant things that worked really well for them, and Dying Light 2 and this game just devolved them twice over and made them worse. In largely every aspect. I mean, I don't think there's a single element in this game that was actually done better in this game compared to what came before it in Dying Light 2 or in Dying Light 1 or its DLC. So right now I'm sort of sitting in the realm of I'm just sort of annoyed at this game, and I got it for free. So, and I keep coming back to that because I had significant problems with the previous game. I didn't plan to pick up this game. I got this game for free, and at the end of it, I'm still complaining about it. That's how many issues this game has for me. So, but anyway, that's the end of this rant. So we'll see how things turn out with the next game I plan to play, which I've got no idea what that's going to be at this point. But we'll see what happens, and yeah, we will see how all my thoughts come together in the Media Bytes video. So we'll see how that goes when it comes out, and we'll just see how things go. So for now, I'd just like to thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later.